Welcome to the Epcotian Adventure,
a podcast where we talk about all things Disney, but we're Epcot-centered.
including tips and tricks, festivals and favorites, and the very latest in our rankings and reviews.
But we're still old enough to remember when the only Japanese we knew was Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto.
This is episode 103, our review of Shiki-Sai.
Or, if you think Japanese food is just Yoshinoya, you're in for a treat.
So now, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast as we embark on our Epcotian adventure.
We call it Epcot.
Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 103 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And we finally went to Shiki-Sai at the Japan Pavilion at Epcot.
Yeah, it's one we've been talking about doing since we first heard that it was going to be a thing. This is the restaurant that replaced Tokyo Dining up above Mitsukoshi, and it is upstairs in the Japan Pavilion, but there is an elevator, a very small elevator.
Yeah, like European small elevator, really.
So if you have someone who needs that in your party, who needs that access, it is available. Don't plan on using it unless you actually are in need.
Yeah,
Because it is very small.
It's amazing to me that they've put 3 upscale restaurants in what feels like such a small space, because Teppanydo goes through the same entrance, just to the left. Shiki-Sai goes through the entrance to the right, and then downstairs by Mitsukoshi, you've got the entrance for the really, really high-end location.
Takumite.
That's the one, which we will probably do someday when we win the lotto. Yeah, that one's, just for comparison, that one starts at $150 per person and goes up to $250 per person, price fixed. That's crazy.
And those are, it is a price fixed menu. There's no options.
Yeah,
so.
like, was it Monsieur Paul? Monsieur Paul.
Monsieur
Paul, yes. I don't speak into French. I'm not sure what language or accent that was. Shiki-Sai is the restaurant. It's actually called Shiki-Sai Sushi because you give it a try.
I believe it is Shiki-Sai Sushi Izakaya.
We'll go with that.
And when we looked it up, Shiki-Sai means a spectrum of colors or the idea of colors. Shiki by itself can also mean the seasons, which this restaurant celebrates the seasons, so that's appropriate. Sai can also mean rhinoceros, so
yeah,
not sure about that.
So colorful rhinoceros.
Yes,
Yeah.
in different seasons. Sushi means sushi. And then izakaya is tavern or a sake shop, which I thought was interesting.
So in my head, this is forever now going to be the colorful rhinoceros bar. Or tavern. I like that better.
Tavern.
Colorful Rhinoceros Tavern.
We like it.
I like Shiki-Sai better. That sounds more exotic.
But this was I won't say bucket list because it was very attainable, but this is one that we've been really wanting to do for a long time. So we were excited to finally get to do it on our last trip. As I mentioned, Shiki-Sai is known for celebrating the Japanese festivals and the Japanese holidays. So each season that you go, you're going to find a different menu and you're going to find different decor. Sometimes there's activities that you can participate in, depending on if there's a festival going on in Japan at the time. They mirror those that are going on in the actual country of Japan.
I love that idea. So when it's cherry blossom season, you're going to see a lot of cherry blossoms in the changeable paintings in the walls.
Love that.
And fireworks.
Yes.
I love this idea. They actually do fireworks in the paintings. I say paintings, I'm doing bunny ears. It's actually, there's high-end screens so that they can change things quickly, but they can also have animation and fireworks. I just think it's awesome.
I do too. I think that's such a fun idea.
Speaking of fireworks, if you're there late enough, you can see fireworks. We managed to do that on this last
We did.
trip.
Or we talked about that. I love that. So Shiki-Sai opened in August of 2023. And they are open from noon to 9 p.m. They do have a lunch and dinner menu. It is the same menu. So
No difference in price. No difference in anything. So, yeah.
We should talk about price, actually. So what does it cost to go to Shiki-Sai? You can get a simple roll, like an avocado roll or a cucumber roll.
Yeah, it was the cheap one.
For $7. All the way up to a sushi boat for $300, which feeds up to 6 people. So you can really spend whatever is your budget at this restaurant, which I love. It's one of the reasons we don't love Prixie Fixie menus.
Yeah.
When there's a price fix and you are locked into a certain dollar amount and you're locked into certain menu choices, I don't love that. So for us, it works so much better when there's a range of things and you're welcome to just try what you want. So that was a big bonus for Shiki-Sai.
So what's the overall vibe in this restaurant? Well, it's very Japanese. I mean, it's hosted by Mitsukoshi, the Sears of Japan that owns the department store and the other restaurants and pretty much everything else in the Japan Pavilion, I think. It's very, very well represented, in my opinion, because it's hosted by Japanese cast members.
It feels very authentic.
Very authentic, yes. Just quieter location for a lunch or dinner, in my opinion. Cast members are very polite, very Japanese, which I just also love. Sue and I have both been to Tokyo, and we're just enamored by the culture and by the people and by just everything that was out there, including, of course, the Disney parks. And this felt to me as a very good representation of their culture.
Agreed. And we do say it's quiet and zen-like, but it's not intimidatingly so. Like, you don't feel like you have to whisper. You don't feel like if you drop a fork, everyone's going to stare at you. Like, it's not that kind of quiet. It's just very peaceful.
Well, we will. You know, we'll stare at you if you drop a fork.
And we'll point and laugh
Only if you go to use it again. But, yeah.
But yeah, this is good for adventurous eaters. Someone who wants to try something new, but not too scary.
Although I will point out they serve eel and octopus. So it depends on your version of scary, because...
But because it's not price fixed, you don't have to get those.
Yeah, but what was Ursula? Was she an eel? Was she an
She was an octopus.
She's
got 8 legs.
An octa-eel?
She has 8 legs.
I feel like I'm eating Ursula. It's just
you're welcome. You do you.
Okay. Good point.
But this would be great for friend get-togethers, date night, something a little more upscale, but not intimidating.
You know, not really going to be great for families with small kids, because it does tend to be a more quiet, subdued type of location. And again, that's partly because of the Japanese culture that's represented here. As American tourists in Japan, we learned really quick that if you're on the metro or on even in a queue somewhere, you're not boisterous. You find yourself not wanting to be because you stand out. It felt that way in the restaurant a little bit too, which I really actually enjoyed. I
did too. It was just sort of a naturally quiet atmosphere, which I really liked.
Yeah, there is a kids menu, and there's things like teriyaki beef and things that are a little more kid-friendly, but I would recommend this more for teenage and up.
But even if any of the adults in your party are picky eaters, they might have a harder time. I think they still can if they're willing to look outside their box, but this might be a hard one for picky eaters.
It could be a good introduction into Japanese food, though, because they do have a very wide selection of different types of Japanese food. Yes, they have nigiri and sushi and the raw seafood, but they also have the cooked things, like they do have Japanese wagyu, which is very expensive and very tasty. They do have standard sushi, so things that are a little more American friendly, like a Philly roll, things of that nature. So
we'll get to them.
Yeah, don't let it.
A little more menu specifics here in a second.
Yeah, but don't let it turn you off, the fact that it is a Japanese restaurant. They do have even, like, noodle bowls.
They do.
Udon.
Now, if you're truly a beginner to Japanese food, you might look up the hill over to the Katsura Grill. That is going to be a much more Americanized palette for you. Very easy sushi rolls, very teriyaki forward.
Yeah,
that sort of idea.
And one of the best hidden seating areas in all of Epcot. Right behind that, it's a nice area with koi ponds and a little Japanese bridge, and it's a beautiful area, very quiet, right behind Katsura Grill. So
yes,
we've talked about that in a few different episodes because it's such a hidden gem.
One of our favorite little getaways in Epcot.
Let's talk more about the menu. Like we said, they have a whole sushi menu. They have nigiri, sashimi, all kinds, like tuna, salmon, yellowtail.
But they also have ebi, which would be tiger prawn, and uni, which is sea urchin. So you can go as simple or as exotic as you like.
I always pronounce that wrong. Ebi. No, it's ebi.
I believe it's ebi. I might be wrong.
Oh, I don't know. We'll go with you. You always tend to have the better pronunciations.
Well, I just, like my friend Brad used to say, just strong and wrong. Just say it like you mean it.
Exactly. Like when you're singing by yourself in traffic on I-4. Getting to the parts. Doesn't matter if I'm singing the wrong lyrics, I'm singing them out loud.
That's it. Strong and wrong.
One of my favorite things here is they have a create-your-own sushi roll. So you pay a premium price. It's about $32, so it's on the higher end for the rolls. But you can choose your own protein and choose your own veggies that are going to go into the roll. And that does include some of the premium proteins. Now, they do have things like American Wagyu, which is going to be a little less expensive, and they do have Japanese Wagyu, which is going to be a lot more expensive. So you're possibly going to go over that $32 mark. But I love that you can actually create your own roll to suit your palate.
I love that. So if you're not finding one that's already pre-selected for you, you can just put what you like in it, which is, I'm always a fan of personalizing anything. And they also have some rice bowls on the menu. They have takoyaki, which is sort of a traditional Japanese appetizer, which is fried octopus with spicy mayo.
You lost me.
They have tempura. They have the karaage chicken, which we will talk about here in a minute.
I want that one.
Go ahead and tell us what that is.
Well, it's a Japanese-style fried chicken that everybody has just been going gaga over since they put it in. And Sue and I didn't order it, and our friend John, who went with us on this trip, didn't order it this time. And it's on my bucket list for this restaurant. It's a fried chicken. It is flavored with garlic and ginger. Yes, please.
And served with a fresh lemon.
Okay. Next time we go, you'll hear me raving about it, I hope.
They also have, I believe it's called okonomiyaki, which is the Japanese savory pancakes, like with the scallions in it. And it's filled with either bacon or veggies. Those sound amazing. I plan on getting those at some point. They have udon noodles with veggie beef or duck. And then they have the Japanese A5 Wagyu that Rod was talking about. You can get it as a steak, just a A5 steak for $88. And they also have it available as a protein in some of their other dishes. So
I may be wrong, but I think that $88 price mark is cheaper than Morimoto.
I believe it is.
I remember seeing on the Morimoto menu, I think they've started at 3 digits. So maybe the number of ounces and where they source it.
I would say the ounces is probably the big thing. It did not specify on the menu, which to me means it's probably not a lot.
One bite.
Yes.
Open up, it's the essence of Wagyu beef. Yeah.
So things that we did get this time, and then we'll hop over to a couple things that we really want to try. But John and I both got the seasonal soup, and I cannot remember what it was called or exactly what was in it, but it was so good. It was like a creamy broth, and then it had all kinds of seafood in it. It had shrimp and scallops and white fish, and it was so good. And then there was veggies in there as well. We were there in January, so this was their winter soup, and it tasted like a winter soup. It had those really warm and welcoming flavors, things that make you want to stay indoors and sip soup. But it was a very nice hot, warm soup for a very, very cold evening, and it hit the spot, and it was $12. It was not on the menu. It was one of those little flyers that sit on the table. Yeah.
That's the nice thing, too, is the chefs here change the menu all the time when it comes to specials. So seasonal soups will change with the seasons.
And with what's fresh and available, which is, I love when they do that.
I love that idea. I really do. As a table, also, we shared a grilled Wagyu gyoza for $21. So those are pan-fried dumplings. Those are things that you can get at any Japanese restaurant. But these were filled with a smoky, really savory American Wagyu beef. The reason they do American is so that
it's affordable.
It's still fantastic tasting. So actually one of the best bites I had that entire trip. But it's affordable that way, because the Japanese Wagyu is a lot more expensive. Oh, and I had a miso soup.
You did. And you are kind of a miso connoisseur. How did this one rate?
I think this was one of the favorite misos I've ever had. We had some in Japan as well.
We did.
And I think this rivaled what we've had actually out there. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the sourcing of the broth and the water and even the tofu. But it was really good miso. The other thing that was something that Sue and I had was a spicy crunch roll. It was really good. I'd say this is a little more standard.
Very
flavor,
standard.
But the presentation was amazing. It was like this little mountain of sushi with sauce all over it. Oh, it was really yummy.
And the guy did a little Mickey Mouse out of the Yum Yum sauce, which was cute. I'll post a picture of that. That was adorable.
And that one was $18. So that's right in the middle range of these rolls that are available. They start at about $7, go all the way up to about $32. if you're just ordering
or
the
81
roll.
if you want the A5 Wagyu.
Exactly. Oh, yes, very true, very true. And then John got a dragon roll. Freshwater eel, avocado, shrimp, and...
Shrimp tempura.
Shrimp tempura.
And there's a concept you should really be familiar with. It's what the Japanese call unagi.
Isn't that a kind of sushi?
No, it's a concept.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's freshwater eel.
All right, maybe it means that too.
Ooh, you know what? If we made reservations, we could have unagi in about a half hour.
And $28 on that one. So you can kind of see what the range of these rolls are.
And it looked like a dragon. Like the freshwater eel was right on top of it. And it looked really cool. I took a picture of that one as well. And that one was super yummy as well. If you like eel, if you've never tried it, this is a great way to try it and see if you like it. To me, it tastes like it has some kind of natural barbecue flavor, which sounds really weird. I'm sure they have no idea how delicious they are, but they are really, really good. So if you're intimidated by it, this is going to look intimidating to you for sure. But if someone else at the table gets it, I would recommend trying a bite because it's a
unique taste. Really, it's not tasting like raw fish. It's a seafood, but it has its own unique taste that I didn't know I liked until John let me try his. It was really good. Thank you, John.
Something else we got for the table was the ishiyaki beef rice. This is one of the things that I have been dying to try since we first saw a review of this restaurant. I always call it the shrapnel rice because they do it tableside, and it is grilled strips of beef in a hot stone bowl. They make it tableside. It is spinach and rice in a sweet garlic sauce. And then they throw like shredded dried nori on top, so seaweed, and it looks like shrapnel.
It looks like shrapnel. This poor thing looks like it went through a war. It is really, really good.
I loved this dish. This is one that will probably be a standard every time we go because it's very easily shareable. This was $28 for a very, very good portion of beef rice.
We were able to share it between all three of us and still have some left.
Oh, yeah. It's very easily shareable. And it makes a great side dish for whatever else you're getting. For drinks, John got the premium sake flight, which was $30. And you got to choose, I believe, three of their premium sakes.
Mm-hmm. And I think they were based on age and clarity, as I recall.
That sounds
starting
reasonable.
With cheaper and going up, as I recall. You don't just order them, they bring them to you, and then they describe to you what each one is.
And I got the Tokyo Sunset, which is one of their house cocktails. It is $16. It is a sunset-colored cocktail with pineapple, coconut rum, and orange juice with a splash of grenadine. It was beautiful and very, very tasty. It is on the sweeter side of drinks because it is the tropical sort of flair to it. Not really any Japanese-ness going on. You could have this just as easily on a cruise ship. But it was very delightful and, again, very sweet, very potent, and I would definitely get it again.
And I had a beer. So, yeah, there you go. But
at least it was Japanese.
It was Kirin. It's something you can get here in the U.S. They also have Sapporo. So, the two main Japanese beers that are familiar to the U.S. I prefer Kirin, so I went with the beer.
Now, usually at a table service restaurant, we will skip dessert, just typically because we prefer savory items and will opt to get an appetizer first as opposed to a dessert after. But all three of us ended up getting dessert. So I got the green tea soft serve ice cream. I love green tea. This was very, very matcha forward. It has, if you don't know what matcha tastes like, it's sort of like dirt, but in a really good way.
Almost grass.
Yes.
Yeah. So between dirt and grass, somewhere in there.
So good. So soil.
Soil, yeah. I like that.
But it was very delightful. If you like the matcha flavor, that earthy, really, I don't know how else to describe it other than dirt.
Yeah. You either like it or you don't.
You do, and I love it.
If you go to Starbucks a lot, it's the green drink you see everybody with there.
But it was only $6, and it was a very nice portion of this green tea soft serve, which usually you see it hard packed, so that was fun to see it as a soft serve.
John got the yuzu cheesecake for $10, and it was cheesecake flavored with yuzu,
which is a citrus that is very popular in Asian countries. And I loved this dessert. It was so good. I would probably get that one again.
I did the Ichigo parfait, if I'm saying that right. If you're familiar with Japanese, I am one with my shame. But it is layered with strawberries, cheesecake, and vanilla ice cream. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with this one. It's Japanese version of, well, it's a parfait.
You know what else everybody like? Parfaits. Have you ever met a person, you say, hey, let's get some parfaits. They say, hell no, I don't like no parfaits. Parfaits are delicious. Parfaits may be the most delicious thing on the whole planet.
But I was going to say it's a Japanese version of like strawberry shortcake, but without the cake. But a parfait.
And that was $18 for that dessert. And I think worth it. It was big and it was really fresh. You could tell the strawberries probably straight out of the land. Like, they were really good.
So one thing about Japanese flavors, if it's fruit flavored, it tastes like the fruit. They don't do sweet, sickly American palate type of flavors. We had a Kirin orange soda when we were in Japan at Tokyo Disney. Actually served it. It tasted like biting into an orange.
But carbonated.
Yeah, it was so good. Cannot get it in the U.S. Why? Please.
It's funny because that fruit flavor thing even translates to the candies. We love haichu candy. Went through a big haichu phase for a long time. But it's because they actually taste like the fruit that they say that they taste like. If you get a grape-flavored fruit, it tastes like grapes. It doesn't taste like whatever they try to sell you as grape here in the U.S. and disguise as cough medicine. I don't know what that is, what that flavor actually is, but it's not grape. Let's just all agree it's not grape. But the Japanese flavors are true to what you think they should be.
I love now that you can get that everywhere. You can find haichu at CVS or at Walgreens.
Yeah, we found it at Hy-Vee.
Yeah, local out here in the Midwest, a chain of grocery stores. For years, the only place I knew to get it was Mitsukoshi. So I used to come home with like a box of them.
Let's just mention a couple things off the menu that we really, really want to try next time we get to go. Rod, what's your top of your list?
Oh, top of my list, I already said. It's that fried chicken. I got to try that. Just the idea that I missed it this time hurts me. But I didn't know about it until we got back and saw so many other people talking about it on YouTube and Instagram and all those places. So that is the top of my list. Yeah, I also want to try the Japanese A5 Wagyu Philadelphia roll, because putting cream cheese and really good steak together in a roll and then deep frying it, yes.
And that one is $81.
Yeah, I still want it.
That's because of that A5. And top of my list is going to be the Maguro Tataki. And that is seared tuna with zesty citrus ponzu sauce for $24. I love a good tuna tataki, and that one just sounds really good. And I'd also like to try the tsukemono, which is one of the appetizers, and it's just described as pickled, crispy Japanese vegetables. And I like pickled vegetables, and I love everything that we've had here, so I know that they'll do it really, really well.
I like calling pickled vegetables squeaky vegetables, because when you eat them, they squeak in your teeth. I love that. Well, let's talk about some of the logistics for the restaurant. Do they take Disney Dining Plan? Well, this is not owned by Disney, but they do take the Disney Dining Plan, so that's always good to note.
That would be a great use of one of your credits if you want to do that. Do we recommend reservations? Yes, absolutely.
Definitely get a reservation here.
Shiki-Sai does not have a walk-up availability on the app, so you can't join a walk-up list through the app, but you can just go upstairs and talk to the people if you decide that you want to dine here and you do not have a reservation. See if they can squeeze you in, see if they can put you on a walk-up list, but you cannot join it on the app.
Yeah, we got there early, I guess you could say, probably 45 minutes early, and checked in, and we were able to get seated within about 30 minutes still. So just note that there's not a lot of seating or lobby space here. You go up either the elevator or the stairs and immediately are right there at the check-in. So there's just note that you may end up sitting outside on the stairs. Hopefully it's not raining like it was our day.
Yeah. Normally you could just go down to Mitsukoshi or whatever and spend your time down there, but it was pouring buckets of rain, so we just kind of sat in a windowsill and waited for our turn. So overall, would we recommend?
My heavens, yes. The service was so good that I would have to recommend this just based on the food and service alone. But the view out the front windows, fantastic. Or if you're further in, you've got those changeable pictures with the fireworks and stuff on them. So I would have to say a big yes recommend on this one. Agreed.
I would definitely say a big yes as well. And we were fortunate enough to be seated right in the corner. We had an amazing view of the lagoon, and we got to see the beginning of the fireworks show. And I actually took a picture from our table and kind of backed it up a little bit so that you could see that you were looking through the window, because the view was so good. So I'll post that. It's not a fantastic picture, but I kind of just wanted to show what we were seeing, and it was very good. I would recommend doing a later reservation. That's what we did, and we closed the place out, so we wanted to let them have their table back, so we didn't stay through the whole show. But once we got back out to the lobby, we realized they had stopped seating people, so we could have actually stayed for the whole show if we wanted to and watched from our spectacular view from our table.
Yeah, they weren't rushing us out.
Not at all.
This is a longer experience. Do not expect to go here and get in and out within an hour. You're probably going to do at least a 2-hour meal here, even at lunchtime. Just note that that's kind of how those nicer restaurants tend to be at Epcot, especially this one. So Shiki-Sai, yes, please make reservations for this restaurant and go.
I can't wait to go again, try some of those things that we talked about, that wanting to do the next time. And another bonus of getting the late reservation and watching the show from the restaurant or from the deck, which you can also do just right outside your table. There's a deck out there. You get to walk out of an empty Epcot after that show, which is an experience not to be missed.
I love that. Before we go, we'd like to give a big thank you to our theme music composer, Jason Patrick Rowan, whose music is licensed through Pond 5. And of course, Domo arigato, Phoenicians.
Domo arigato, Phoenicians. And don't forget to rate, review, like, share, and subscribe. It really does help other people find us. You can find us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Epcotian Adventure is a $1,000 brunch production and a proud gold member of D23. Thanks for joining us today for episode 103 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And we'll see you in line.
Sayonara.
Thank the Phoenicians.
Or the nigiri, the seaweed.
La 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 la! Zord! North! Point!